All right, so let's look at example 3 now. Okay, so we're going to solve for variables now. Now remember, these matrices are only equal if every element in every corresponding position are the same. So that means that A and 4 have to be the same. Okay, B and -7 have to be the same. 2C and 8 have to be the same. And then D plus 4 and 6 have to be the same. Okay, so it's pretty easy. So A has to equal 4. Okay, B has to equal -7. Okay, and then 2C has to equal 8. So we're going to set up an equation. Okay, and that's obviously C is going to be 4. And then D plus 4 has to equal 6. So D plus 4 has to equal 6. So subtract 4 from both sides, and you get D then has to be 2. So here are your answers. All right, so let's look at example 4. Okay, there's a lot going on here. So notice the parentheses. We have a scalar out front. This 4 is a scalar, remember, but we have parentheses, and that scalar is outside of the parentheses. So what we first need to do is, just like we would in normal algebra, let's take care of what's inside the parentheses. Okay, so -2a, -4, 5 and 2, and then we're going to add that to 3, -6, 7c, and 1. Okay, now remember when you add, we're just adding the corresponding positions. Okay, so we have -2a plus 3. We have -4 plus 7c. We have 5 plus -6 and 2 plus 1. Okay, so if we simplify that, we have -2a plus 3 can't be simplified. -4 plus 7c can't be simplified. 5 plus -6 is simply -1, and 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, so now I'm going to incorporate the scalar. I've taken care of the inside. I've added these two matrices together. So now I'm going to take care of the scalar. Okay, so this is just going to be 4 times -2a plus 3. And then 4 times -1. Okay, this is going to be 4 times -4 plus 7c and 4 times 3. Simplify this. Okay, this is -8a plus 12. And then down below I have -16 plus 28c. 4 times -1 is simply -4. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, so now what I have right here in red is this entire thing on the left side of the equal sign. Okay, so if I finish off this problem, this has to equal -28, 40, B, and D. Okay, so that means that -8a plus 12 has to equal -28, right? Corresponding positions have to be equal. So if I subtract 12, I get -8a equals -40. Divide by -8, divide by -8. I get a is 5. I need to set up another equation. So -16 plus 28c equals 40. So add 16 to both sides. I get 28c is 56. And then divide by 28, divide by 28, I get c has to be 2. Okay, well, the other two are pretty simple. -4 has to equal b. And 12 has to equal d. So there are the value of my 4 variables. All right, so I want you to go ahead and pause this video, take a minute, and try to work a B out on your own. Okay, if you need help, refer to A, but notice the only thing different is there's a minus sign here, but the process is the same. Okay, so go ahead and pause this, work through it, and then we'll go over it. All right, so this is what you should have gotten. Okay, so this right here highlighted, when you work it all out, remember parentheses first and then the scalar, you should have got this matrix. Okay, so that's after you applied the scalar and subtracted the matrices. Okay, and then that equals to this, so that's what I did here. And if you set up an equation, you should have got A is 4, B is negative 16, C is 8, and D is 6. All right, so let's go down to example 5. Okay, so it says a high school district track and field organization used the same standard qualifying times for its district championships in 2 consecutive years. The tables show the number of boys and girls in 3 class levels who qualified in the 100-meter run in those years. Organize the data using 2 matrices, one for each year. Okay, so let's do that first. Okay, so let's take care of this. Organize data using 2 matrices, one for each year. Okay, so we're going to have 2 matrices here. Okay, and let's do like year 2019 and year 2020. We don't have to label them, but sometimes it can help. All right, so for 2019, if I look at the boys, we had 18, 23, and 16. And then for the girls, we had 21, 22, and 24. Okay, so notice this is my boys. And once again, you don't have to label this. This is my girls. Okay, this is class 1. This is class 2. And this is class 3. Okay, so if I do 2020, I'm going to do the same thing. So boys first. So 16, 25, and 12. And then girls are 15, 18, and 18. And once again, first column is boys, second column is girls, class 1, class 2, and class 3. All right, so I've done what's highlighted. Okay, so the next step is then find and interpret the matrix that give the average numbers of boys and girls who qualified in each class. So we want the average number of both of them put together. Okay, so what we need to do first is we need to add these. Okay, and then we need to apply our scalar. So if we add 2 things, to find the average, we divide by 2. So we're going to multiply 1/2 because multiplying by 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2. Okay, so when I do that, okay, I'm just going to have 18 plus 16. I'm adding them first. 23 plus 25, 16 and 12. And then I have 21 and 15, 22 and 18, and 24 and 18. Okay, so once again, I'm first finding the sum. I'm finding the sum of them, and then I'm going to find the average by multiplying them by 1/2. Remember, multiplying by 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2. All right, so this is 34 is 18 plus 16. 23 plus 25 is 48. And 16 plus 12 is 28. And then I have 21 plus 15 is 36. 22 plus 18 is 40. And 24 plus 18 is 42. Okay, and then I want to find the average, so I'm going to apply the scalar. So when I do that, I get 34 times 1/2 is 17. 48 times 1/2 is 24. 28 times 1/2 is 14. 36 times 1/2 is 18. 1/2 times 40 is 20, and this then is 21. Okay, now, remember, this is my boys column, and this is my girls column. Okay, this is my class 1, this is my class 2, this is my class 3, and this is the average for 2019 and 2020. Okay, so what I can conclude is in 2019 and 2020. Okay, the first I have for class 1, I have an average of 17 boys and 18 girls qualify. Okay, so that's right here. Okay, next I'm going to do this. Okay, so the second thing, for class 2, the average of the 2 years is 24 boys, 20 girls that qualified. And last but not least, I have this row, which tells me that in class 3, I had an average of 14 boys and 21 girls qualify in those 2 given years. And that's our interpretation.